Across the entire state, another day of bitter, life-threatening cold until we finally get some relief. Our continuing team coverage starts right now at 10.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Much of the Midwest came to a collective standstill today as temperatures and wind chills proved too extreme.
The actual temperatures will drop overnight, but the wind won't play as big of a role. A look at some of the notable closures for tomorrow. Just about every school district, including Madison. UW-Madison is canceled until noon tomorrow. USPS is suspending regular mail services once again, and all non-essential city offices will remain closed tomorrow as well. After being closed today, both East and West Town malls will reopen tomorrow at noon.
But there is an end in sight. Meteorologist Dana Fulton now with our first alert forecast. Dana?
And noon seems to be the golden threshold for us tomorrow. That's when our wind chill warnings will all end across the state. Also when we'll start to see our temperatures become a little more stable heading into the weekend. Now, right now, it feels like our current temperatures actually 19 degrees below zero in Madison, 21 degrees below zero in Prairie du Chien, and in Lone Rock, 22 degrees below zero in Platteville. Taking a look at what it actually feels like outside, though, 42 degrees below zero in Platteville. So this is a look at our wind chills right now. Madison, thankfully, not much of a breeze for us currently, so not factoring too much of a wind chill. Our breeze isn't going to be a big factor for us tonight, but temps are going to drop even more as we head into our Thursday morning, more than what we saw this morning. So because of this, that wind chill warning still in effect for all of southern Wisconsin until tomorrow. We do also still have our alert days in the forecast for Wednesday night and for all day Thursday. So the rest of this evening, our temperatures will fall to about 30 degrees below zero, with those wind chills anywhere from 30 to 50 degrees below zero to start off your Thursday. The record low for tomorrow is 22 below zero. So we are running right by that record, heading closer to 30. For Thursday, afternoon highs should be close to 4 degrees below zero, so it won't be nearly as cold in the afternoon. And then we may see a little light snow moving in. Right now, our Doppler track is fine, but that light snow chance is going to come in later in the day tomorrow. And then we see warmer air for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we'll take a closer look at that full extended forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dana, thank you. And while many, of course, stayed home today, it was still business as usual for a large portion of the city. Others even braved the cold, going out of their way to make sure everyone had a warm place to stay.
Once again, we have team coverage, and we start with Jamie Perez in the news center.
Right, well, when it is this cold outside, it's hard to imagine spending even 10 minutes out there. But there are some people who can't escape the cold and feel like they have nowhere to go. Well, one Madison group is working to change that as much as possible.
It's nights like this, where you want to be anywhere but here. For most people, they're able to escape the cold, but others aren't so fortunate.
Biggest reason is probably because they may be a couple. Married folks can't go to shelter. They may have pets, which is a big thing.
Jeff Turk works for Friends of the State Street family. He and many others work to make sure people who live on the streets have somewhere safe to go, especially when it gets this cold. For those who think there's only one way out.
When you're out in this weather and you're out in it for 2 minutes, you feel it. And there are people that live in this weather.
There are people who are more than just our friends, people who care about homeless people's safety. People like Megan Wood.
So this is pretty typical of what we do on a night like tonight. We see belongings, personal belongings, and we're just going to do a welfare check to see if anyone's sleeping here.
Megan knows the person she's checking on. She knows where she can find them on any given night.
This is pretty typical what we see, though, that people, they don't have anywhere to store their belongings. That's someone's household items right there. These are people's belongings. They don't have a place to store everything they carry, and so it's left, and we're grateful that the police department allows it to stay, but that's not a way to live.
It's something they say is heartbreaking to see. People live in this. It's why they feel this is something they have to do.
I see, that's a bike. Is that him?
No, that might be stuff. Yeah, let me just jump out here.
While many of us get to stay in our homes away from the cold, there are people in Madison who seek out those who can't do the same.
We kind of do a stakeout. We've got supplies, and we make contact to make sure that they're safe. Luckily, with the weather the way that it is the last few days, we've gotten most of our friends that we know of into shelter.
During my ride along with them, we didn't find anyone on the streets. That's a good thing. It means people like Jeff and Megan and others are helping people survive.
It's what life is all about.
If you see someone who is out in the cold and needs assistance, Friends of the State Street Family encourages you to call their outreach line. That's 608-535-9394. Their services are available 24/7.
Jamie Perez continuing our team coverage tonight. Jamie, thank you.
Some shops at Hilldale will open back up tomorrow after having to close today due to a water main break there. Many stores were already closed due to the cold weather, but after this main broke and spilled water through the street there, crews had to shut the whole center down to repair it. And the cold was the culprit in several early morning power outages in southern Wisconsin. Nearly 3,000 customers were without power here in Mineral Point this morning, but that was far from the only place. There were outages in Beloit, Fitchburg, Grant County, Janesville, McFarland, and in pockets of Iowa County as well. The majority of those outages were caused by equipment failure, as insulators, fuses, and other pieces can become brittle in this cold.
Madison police are suspending much of their parking enforcement during extremely cold temperatures. The Madison Police Department tweeted today that alternate side parking will be suspended until Friday at 1 a.m. On-street parking meters, which have been struggling to work in these temperatures, will not be monitored in Madison until tomorrow at noon. Madison Metro is offering bus services free of charge today and tomorrow. However, individual trips and select routes could be canceled due to the weather. Since last week, Metro has also provided warming buses next to bus stops to help people who are waiting for the bus.
Over the past few days, we have told you a lot about businesses closing during these frigid temperatures, but a few are staying open and loving it. Amy Reed joins us now to show us a few of those. Amy?
Not only are these companies staying open, some are staying open longer because business in this storm has been too good to pass up.
One person can go through this one.
In a kingdom of trampolines,
One can go on this side, one can go on that side.
Kamari Williams is a sort of ruler, watching over the hot place to be at Sky Zone.
Usually people come here just for this one. Like, they be like, we really wanted it to be open, or oh my God, we finally get to do like the Warriors course. So
Lately, her job is a lot busier, thanks to snow and cold, keeping kids out of school and keeping other businesses closed. Instead, Sky Zone is doing so well, they've been opening 4 hours earlier than normal.
Ninja Warrior.
It's a nice relief for some moms who are on their third day entertaining the kids at home and can now have a little outlet for everyone's pent-up energy, even theirs.
We were surprised that this was open because a lot of the libraries were closed, Trader Joe's was closed, but we looked first thing this morning, we had the plan and it was open.
But if the kids' playground isn't your scene,
victorious! Another Manhattan?
Maybe this adult playground will work.
I feel like we've actually been able to service some people that have actually called and said that exactly, that a lot of places are been closed, so we've been fielding a lot of phone calls.
Babe's Grill and Bar weighed the options carefully before opening today, but ultimately decided that they needed to, keeping good spirits by serving good spirits.
A lot of people are just really grateful and excited to get out of the house and maybe have a beer.
Many other places, yes, even bars, stayed closed for the cold. And though Babe's isn't quite sure what tomorrow will bring, they're happy for today. They were able to give these people a place to go.
So they were very happy that we were open, and most people seem to be grateful that there's a spot.
Babes said it will close early tonight to give staff time to get home before the cold gets worse. Sky Zone will open up at noon again tomorrow, and by Friday, at least Madison schools hope to be back with students back at school, business as usual.
Fingers crossed. Those responsible for fighting fires and fighting crime found themselves also fighting the cold today. First responders in Rock County say they rely on limiting time outdoors and layering clothes, much like anyone else. Janesville police officer Glenn Hageman says while many are spending time indoors, that's an option first responders don't have.
Still have crimes being committed. People are still going to be out there trying to take advantage of other people, and you know, criminals still think like criminals. So, you know, their idea is, hey, if it's cold weather and then the cops aren't going to be out and around, then hey, I'm going to try to do something here. But we are out and about.
Hageman says most calls on cold days like today are for wellness checks. People calling in to check on the health and safety of loved ones they fear could be in danger.
Proved to be a busy day for local fire departments. 5 of them were called to put out a garage fire in Brooklyn. This was on Church Street. They were able to extinguish the blaze before it spread to the home, although siding on that house melted from the flames. Madison firefighters were called into the cold in the middle of the night to fight a house fire. This on the city's far east side, a single-family home on Buckeye Road catching fire around 3 in the morning. A neighbor saw flames coming from the roof, and a man living in that home was able to get out safely with no injuries. Temperatures were at about 20 degrees below zero at the time of the fire, and that does not take into account the wind chill. And in Janesville, 6 people are displaced after a duplex fire on South Academy Street. This fire started in the attic around 2 in the morning. The building considered a total loss. 32 firefighters responded, taking turns spending time outside in the cold.
The life of a zookeeper in Wisconsin also includes some very cold days. The Henry Vila Zoo is taking precautions, keeping all of its animals inside. A few at the zoo, like the bison and the polar bear, are made for the cold, but that doesn't mean they don't need some help.
Even though their wild counterparts should be able to withstand it, we also do our due diligence to make sure that anybody in the zoo that isn't able to, hunker down in a den or something like that is given all of the proper tools to make them as comfortable as possible.
The zoo is open to the public during the cold weather. They just ask that visitors stay safe and think ahead. Check out this video from Illinois, Lake Michigan from the air. Chicago saw its coldest day on record as temperatures fell below the previous low of minus 15 degrees back in 1966. The bitter cold canceled 1,600 flights at Chicago's airports. Even train travel took a hit, with fires set to heat the tracks so they wouldn't crack. Still ahead on News 3 at 10, your updated forecast and when we can expect a break from this bitter cold.
We're all looking forward to that. But first, Foxconn shifting focus for its plans here in Wisconsin. Why that's not sitting well with some lawmakers. That's next at 10.
Tech giant Foxconn is shifting its focus at the $10 billion campus in Wisconsin.
That's according to a report out of Reuters today. That report says the Taiwanese tech giant plans to turn its Wisconsin facility into a research hub and may drop plans to build LCD screens at the campus in Racine County. The company says it will still create the promised 13,000 jobs. However, Even some of the deal's supporters aren't so sure. Nonetheless, they're confident the company won't walk away from Wisconsin altogether. But Democrats say it wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
They're a really diverse technology company, and the kinds of things that they will continue to do as they build out in Wisconsin are going to be a really good match for the technologies that we have here.
The type of facility that they were talking about when they were breaking ground and the president came in and everybody was really happy, not even going to be close to what they said they wanted to do.
Republican lawmakers are blaming Governor Evers for the company reconsidering, saying the new governor brought a, quote, wave of economic uncertainty. But Evers' top aide says his administration will devote time, resources, and personnel to make sure workers and taxpayers are protected.
The U.S. Coast Guard, based in Sturgeon Bay, helped rescue 7 people stranded on the ice last night. The people were in an ice shanty, but were unable to make it back to shore due to difficulties with their vehicle and inclement weather. The weather on scene was reported as 4 below zero with a wind chill of 30 below and large snow drifts. The 7 people were loaded up and taken back to shore without incident. And here is something we do not recommend. Spotted in Madison this morning, Spider-Man and his sidekick Eeyore were making their way around the city today, just like that. And how does a bike ride sound? Well, it was a reality for this guy on University Ave. Again, not something we recommend on days like today or even tomorrow.
But it is Madison, and you knew there would be people out there on their bicycles. And Dana, there's really nothing else we can say to throw to you after all these days that we've been talking about this cold weather.
Exactly. I can't say that I'm surprised. I do have to admit, though, I saw several people in the last few days out jogging in the afternoon and riding their bikes. And kudos to them, I guess, for trying to be healthy. But I think staying indoors and at the gym, or maybe some body weight fitness inside, would have been the safer option as opposed to riding outside. We have a lot of spring and summer that's going to be much more comfortable. That's when I would recommend the bike time. We have a wind chill warning still in effect until tomorrow morning, until 10 a.m. west of Dane County, east of Dane County until noon, as our wind chills are yet again going to drop to those very dangerous levels. This morning we saw wind chills in Platteville close to 55 degrees below, 50 below in Janesville, and in Madison recording about 48 degrees below zero. Our actual temperature this morning dropped to 26 degrees below zero, so a very cold start to the day. Our Doppler track is calm right now. We have a mostly clear sky overnight. That just helps our temperatures fall even more. No threat for any sort of flurries tonight, but we will be watching some flurry chances creep into the forecast by tomorrow afternoon. Our high pressure is still ridging through the plains. We have westerly flow through the southern portion of Wisconsin, but our breeze is really dying down. It's going to stay fairly light for us tonight and for much of tomorrow morning. Not as much of a factor as we had this morning. So even though it is going to be colder outside with our temperatures, our wind chills may be just a little better for some cities, not everybody, but for some areas possible. Looking ahead to Thursday morning, we're still, I say a little better, still dangerous, 30 to 50 degrees below freezing, below zero for southern Wisconsin. Looking to Iowa, though, we are starting to see a trend in a better direction. Their wind chills to start off Thursday will be closer to about 20 to 30 degrees below zero. By Friday afternoon, notice what it feels like outside. Our wind chills will be above zero. And for Saturday, we're also expecting our temperatures and the wind chills to stay above zero for us. But the alert day is still in the forecast for tonight and Thursday because it is going to be so dangerously cold outside tonight and tomorrow. You need to be bundled up in several layers if you are heading outside for any reason tonight or tomorrow morning. Later on in the afternoon, even after that wind chill warning has been canceled or has expired, we are planning on still a very cold day ahead. Temperature-wise, our coldest temperature ever in Madison, of course, today, the anniversary, negative 37 degrees. And back in 1963, we hit negative 30. Our next coldest temperature, negative 29. So we've only dropped to negative 30 twice in Madison's recorded history. So I know we've had a few Facebook comments, people saying Wisconsin gets cold. Maybe this isn't too cold. This is kind of Wisconsin weather. Not at all. It is an anomaly for us to be forecasting temperatures this cold outside, and we are expecting to get to 30 below tonight, and that would be the third time in Madison's history that we would hit that record. Looking ahead overnight, we will stay mostly clear, starting off the day with those temperatures close to 30 below. In the afternoon, we stay below freezing or below zero with that chance for, again, light snow and flurries to creep on through. By Friday morning, we aren't going to move around too much from those Thursday highs, and then by the afternoon, we are expecting temperatures to be above zero. 30 degrees below zero for tonight. Tomorrow, 4 degrees below zero. And then by Friday, believe it or not, we'll be in the teens for afternoon highs. 16 our high for your Friday. We are expecting a variably cloudy sky on Friday. Looking ahead to the weekend, notice both Saturday and Sunday we swing in the other direction. Close to 40 both days. We will see some rain coming in, light rain expected for both Saturday and Sunday, and may start to mix with some freezing drizzle looking at that early Sunday morning as temperatures get close to freezing, and then into next week once the rain is wrapping up late Tuesday and some showers still lingering into Monday. But we have to get through one more cold morning before we see that warm up for the weekend.
You know, I'm sure there are people looking forward to Saturday and Sunday's temperatures, but you know, Friday, you're going to be able to feel that difference even though the high is only 16.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
As soon as you step outside, it's not going to be painful. You're not going to need nearly as many layers. It's going to be a bit of a shock to the system.
All right, Dana, thank you.
Dana, thanks. The hottest college basketball team in Wisconsin, just down the road from us. This is Charlotte's team, actually. We'll have a story about them coming up in sports.
You know, it's almost considered heresy to start a sportscast in Madison, Wisconsin with a story on Marquette men's basketball. But you have to give the Warriors, Golden Eagles, credit. They start the night with their game at Butler, ranked 10th in the nation in the Associated Press poll. Fancy blue uniforms with gold stripes for the Marquetters tonight. If you haven't seen Marcus Howard play, you really missed out. Tonight, Howard gets his 6th 30-plus point game of the season. He goes off for 32 points on 14 of 23 from the field. Sam Hauser adds 19. They're now 19-3. We are Marquette. Gold. Remember? Yeah. Final score, Marquette 76, Butler 58. The Badger men's basketball team plays Maryland at the Kohl Center Friday night at 8. It's been deemed a whiteout night for fans, so you're asked to dress appropriately. And it is certainly okay to wear white before Labor Day now, right? With last night's 62-51 win in Lincoln, the Badgers are now 7-3 in the Big Ten. They won 4 straight. And the good news is they won even though Ethan Papp didn't put up crazy numbers.
We like to be able to spread it out a little bit more and be more diverse and have other guys step up and not be Ethan Happ dependent. And obviously against the zone specifically, play through him in the middle of the floor, trying to make good decisions, find guys, and guys were able to knock down some shots around it.
The Packers have a new wide receivers coach. Alvis Whitted played wide receiver in the NFL for 9 seasons with Jacksonville and Oakland. The last 7 years, Whitted has been the wide receivers coach at Colorado State University. Now he's joining the Packers staff as their receivers coach. Sunday in Atlanta, they'll play for the Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl 53, the Los Angeles Rams, New England Patriots, Mercedes-Benz Stadium right here on Channel 3. Kickoff just after 5:30 p.m. Sunday. 2 weeks from today, Brewers catchers and pitchers report to spring training in Arizona. Today's high temperature was 75 degrees in Maryvale. Last night in Madison, the Brewers' Sophia Minert was at the annual Dugout Club dinner. She went to Edgewood High School and Marquette University and will be the reporter on Brewers telecasts again this season. Minert is bilingual, so with so many Brewers from Spanish-speaking countries, it's a skill that's invaluable in her job on Brewers telecasts.
And I have to give credit to my mom, Sylvia. She grew up and was raised in Costa Rica. So for us, we spoke Spanish at home. That was something that was really important to her. And at the time, I had no idea how that would help me professionally. But I think being in baseball, where 30% of the players are Latin and that number continues to grow, it's a huge advantage. There's no doubt about it. And I think it's more than anything, it's about the relationships, and it's about people being comfortable with you, them being able to communicate with you.
Baseball Hall of Famer Frank Robinson is in poor health and getting worse. He's been in hospice care for several months, said to be in the late stages of a long illness. Robinson is still the only player to win a Most Valuable Player award in both the American and National Leagues. And eventually, they're going to have to start having high school sports events again. Our next Prep Mania game of the week is Tuesday when Monroe visits Monona Grove in girls basketball. We'll have that game live on channel3000.com next Tuesday night at 7:15, and we'll be right back.
Dana's here with the final check.
We are looking at another very cold night. The good news, though, this is the last night that it's going to be this cold outside. A wind chill warning still in effect until Thursday morning. Temps will drop close to 30 degrees below zero. Thursday, we stay below zero, but then by Friday, afternoon highs will be in the teens and close to 40 by the weekend.
That will feel good.
Yes.
Dana, thank you. Thanks for joining us at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you tomorrow.